Hi, and welcome to the next video in Module 4, Customer Growth. Now, we've explored upselling, cross-selling, and customer retention strategies using automated emails. But here's the next question. How do you continue to build the customer relationship and keep people engaged long after the automated email sequence is complete? And how do you alert people to new offers, promotions, and updates? That's where regular manual email campaigns come in. Let's explore them together. Now, in this video, we're going to look at a couple of key things. We're going to start by looking at the types of email campaigns that you can use. We're going to look at the top 10 strategies for email campaign success. And we're also going to look at some ideas around testing and measurement to enable ongoing optimization of your email campaigns. Let's explore them together. So in contrast to automated emails that you might have already set up, email campaigns refer to emails that you send to your audience that are not automatically triggered by some type of behavior on the part of customers. They're crafted, assigned, and deliberately designed for a list or segment, and then they're sent or scheduled manually, and usually on a regular or semi-regular basis. Manual email campaigns take a little bit more time to create and send than their automated cousins, but they're a critical part of your ongoing growth strategy. And done right, they can keep customers engaged and buying more long after your automated emails have ended. Here are some examples of email campaigns that you can consider using. The first, and one of the most common, is the regular newsletter, which can be sent daily, weekly, fortnightly, or monthly. And it can come in different forms. For example, a digest format that provides a regular roundup of informative or interesting articles, blogs, or news is a really common format. And that could be based on your own content that you've developed, or it could be content that you've sourced from elsewhere, right? Sometimes called content aggregation. By now, you're hopefully familiar with the concept of content marketing, right? Which is the distribution of highly valuable, interesting, entertaining content to build the relationship with the customer and to build trust over time. That's essentially what you're doing with these newsletters. And of course, you can add in some promotions too, but the vast majority, 80 to 90%, should be helpful content. That's the first type. And here's an example from GoTo's blog, right? You can see it. They launch with a feature article, and then there are a few other articles that they've written as well that are there as part of the email newsletter. In their case, it's all content produced by them. But again, you can mix this up. In our own digital autopilot blog, for example, that actually combines the two approaches. So we start with our own content as a feature video or feature written piece, but we also provide a list of sourced, interesting external articles that we've curated. Another type of email campaign is what's sometimes called the how-to email. This is an example here, right? MAC Cosmetics. They regularly send out what are called how-to emails to teach their audience how to use their products effectively, right? In this email example, for instance, you can see how what they're doing is they explain step by step how to cover acne and dark circles, right? That's again their strategy. That's the how-to email. And what's interesting about it is it's somewhere between an informative blog and a promotion, right? In the sense that it can be highly designed, as you've just seen, and it's usually focused on how to use a particular product effectively. Another example is GoTo again, not to be outdone. They do this really well, and you can see them showing how to keep your skin healthy during winter by using one of their products effectively. Another email type is, of course, the promotion. And we've all experienced this, right? They're an integral part of any email marketing strategy. And you can run holiday, seasonal, time-limited promotions. For example, they could be summer promotions, winter promotions, end-of-year promotions, Christmas promotions, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, end of financial year, and the list goes on, right? And they usually come with a special offer of some kind, and they're time sensitive, thereby creating that sense of urgency and encouraging action. Again, GoTo does this exceptionally well. Here's their Mother's Day promotion, right? They're offering a body bar and they have a special offer connected to it as well. A final email type is what's called the product update or release email. Now, if you're about to launch a new product or you've just updated some features, let clients know. Right? This is your chance to build some hype around your brand and increase customer engagement. And it's a good excuse for an email campaign. And there you have a number of different examples. Here you can see PandaDoc. They are a proposal software company. Right? Their email, in this case, alerts you to the release of their mobile app with a call to action to download. So that's an example of a product release or product update email. Now, you may have noticed that there's a bit of a spectrum here from pure content like informative blogs on one end to pure promotion on the other. And it's important to use each of these kinds of emails in your mix, but you do need to get the balance right. Promotions are great, but just be careful to balance your emails in favor of content. If people feel constantly promoted to, they can actually disengage. And if you get the balance right, email campaigns can be an extremely powerful tool for boosting repeat purchases and increasing customer growth. And as we've said in the past, email is free, so your return on investment can be exceptionally high. But here's the thing, we're not finished yet, because for your email campaigns to reach their potential, you need to take account of a range of factors, right? And let's explore the top 10 strategies that you need to consider for your email campaigns to work well. And let's start with timing. So when is the best time to send an email campaign? People often ask that question. And the reality is it does depend on the topic. It depends on, the lifestyle and habits of your target customers. It depends on a range of different factors. However, to generalize, based on 14 different studies, the best days are typically Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Monday's the busiest day of the week, and on Friday, people try not to leave anything for the next week, and they're trying to finish off their week's tasks. Saturday and Sunday, they're often family days, so people spend most of their weekend relaxing and not reading, work-related emails. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now, next question, what's the best time or hour of the day? Based on a study that observed response rates of 20 million emails, it turned out that Tuesday at 11 a.m. happens to be the best day and time to send your email. And that makes sense because mid-morning is usually after people have got some initial work out of the way, they're ready to take a bit of a tea break, and then they'll be open to browsing emails and looking at what you have to offer. The reality, though, is that you have to test it in your specific situation to determine the optimal time to send emails. And I'll talk more about testing shortly. After timing, the next critical point is your subject line. As you'll recall from previous modules, if your subject line doesn't entice your readers to open the email, content won't actually matter. You might have the best piece of content or the best promotional offer, but it's irrelevant, right? So you need to get this right. Now, one of our partners, Opt-in Monster, developed a list of 164 sample subject lines. You can check them out for inspiration at the link here. Here's an example as well of some subject lines from Russell Brunson, the founder of ClickFunnels software, which is a funnel building software. And his subject lines, as you'll see here, are quite what I would call clickbaity, which can work well with some audiences, but could also turn off other audiences. In his particular case, they worked very well for his intended audience. You're obviously going to need to customize it for your specific target market. Next up is your copy. The copy or the text in the body of your email should be consistent with your brand personality and voice, right? We discussed brand voice in a previous module, but this is where rubber really hits the road with your branding. Your email copy needs to embody and give expression to your unique brand personality. And when it does, it's infinitely more engaging. Next are images. Now, you want to select images that are optimized for all devices, eye-catching and relevant to your audience and whatever it is you're actually selling. Here's an example, again, from GoTo. Engaging image captures your attention, highly designed in their case. In other cases, depending on your target market, it might be that a less designed email could be more engaging. But either way, you've got to choose the right image to capture the attention of your target market. Next is your call to action. Now, first of all, you should have one. That's the first thing. But it should also lead to a relevant action or offer, and it should stand out from the rest of the email. So, for example, a colored button is ideal. Here's an example from Reading Eggs. It's a kids reading platform. And you can see they've emphasized their call to action via a big blue button, which in their case says hatch now. Now, I'm hoping this strategy here is obvious, but it's worth mentioning that 55% of emails are opened on mobile devices, right? Which means your email must be optimized for mobile as well as for other devices. If it's hard to read, people will simply switch off. 7, here's one that is not as obvious: segmentation. This is about breaking up your email list into subcategories that relate to your subscribers' unique characteristics, interests, and preferences. At the end of the day, your subscribers are actually humans, believe it or not, and it's important to relate to them the way you would relate to another person. In other words, don't send them generic email blasts, or you run the risk of sending the wrong content to the wrong people and thereby disengaging them, right? Each person who signs up to receive your emails is at a different stage of the customer journey. They may be interested in different products. The more you segment your list, the more you can customize your emails. Therefore, the more relevant the emails will be and the more likely they'll be to convert into sales, right? Pretty simple formula. Now, how do you actually segment your email lists? Well, email marketing platforms allow you to segment your list by contact data and behavior to help you send the right emails to the right people. For example, you could break up your list by things like geographical location, life cycle stage of the customer journey, industry, previous engagement with your brand, job title, products purchased is a great one. And really, there's no limit. You can actually segment your list in any way you want. Just make sure that you're as exclusive as possible when sending emails to each subject group in order to maximize your engagement. 8, now that you know who you're emailing and what's important to them, you can start to really personalize your emails. In case you need convincing, personalized emails have a 26% higher open rate and an improved click-through rate of 14% when compared to others. And think about it, right? You've gathered all this unique data. Your email marketing software allows for personalization. Why not personalize your emails so that your audience feels like you're talking to them, like they're special? And there are lots of ways to do it. Just to give you a few examples, things like adding a first name field in your subject line or your greeting, right? Makes it feel like it's coming to them. Include region-specific information, right, when appropriate. Send content that's relevant to your lead's life cycle stage, right? Write about relevant events like region-specific holidays that are relevant to your audience. End your emails with a personal signature from a human, not a company, and so on. Again, you can come up with other ideas as well. 9, the arch enemy of your heroic email campaigns is the dreaded spam filter. Not only does the spam filter block emails from getting through, but ending up in the spam filter can actually hurt your email deliverability rates right across the board. So here's how to avoid it. Number one, get whitelisted. So a whitelist is basically a list of approved senders that are allowed to reach the subscriber's email inbox. And the easiest way to accomplish this is to have your new subscriber add your email address to their address book. So one approach is to include directions on how to do this in your welcome email. Two, careful copy, right? Avoid using all caps, multiple exclamation points, as well as spam trigger words like opt-in, click below, order. Those words are easily detected and marked down by internet service providers. So just be careful with them. Also important to use a reliable email service provider, right? The email service provider's reputation, believe it or not, affects your deliverability, right? So use known companies. Also, consider implementing a double opt-in. That is, after someone opts into your email list, send an email asking them to confirm that they do in fact want to receive the emails. That ensures that your new subscriber is genuinely interested in the emails and is much more likely to be engaged. Also, remove inactive people from your email list to keep engaged subscribers. That's an important one. And finally, check which emails hard bounced, and again, remove those addresses from your list as well. Number 10, without going into all its details and nuances, General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, is really about giving your customers the right to choose. And at present, it only applies to businesses operating in the European Union and businesses that market to EU citizens, but it's fast being adopted right around the globe, and it's worth creating a GDPR strategy for your store. Here are some quick compliance tips. You can see them here. Use explicit and clear language when requesting consent to store people's information. Only collect contact data that's necessary and relevant for your business. Store contact data in a secure manner, right? And only use it for the purpose that was agreed. Retain data only for justifiable purposes. Delete contact data on request if someone asks you. Make it really easy for contacts to unsubscribe from your list or update their preferences. That means having an unsubscribe link in your emails. Comply promptly to a contact's request for access to their data. And finally, keep company records to prove that you've actually complied. Now, these regulations are likely to be taken quite seriously, so it's worth getting onto this. And there you have a range of strategies, 10 in fact, for creating successful email campaigns. But here's the rub. By themselves, these strategies are not actually enough, because the reality is you can never know for certain what precise combinations of strategies will work with your specific target market unless you test and optimize over time. Now, testing in any field of endeavor really it gives you the data you need to be able to make decisions that will ultimately improve your performance. And email marketing is no different, right? Forgive me if this is going to sound a bit geeky, but in the digital marketing world, scientifically testing the effectiveness of your email marketing is called A/B testing or split testing, and it's critical, right? The basic idea is pretty simple. You create two versions of an email to determine which email statistically performs better. Once you identify which email version performs best, you then optimize your email strategy based on what you learned about the winning email. This way, you learn which emails engage your audience most, in turn, obviously, helping you boost conversions and revenue. Now, which elements of an email should you test, you might ask? Well, the answer, of course, is all of the elements, the top 10 elements we talked about previously, your subject lines, your CTAs, your images, personalization, and so on. By way of an example, even Barack Obama, the former president of the United States, A/B tested his email subject lines, and it played a huge part in the success of his 2012 presidential campaign. By sending a number of variations made to the subject line, right, to a small sample of subscribers, his team were actually able to calculate the amount in donations they could expect to receive based on the results. So the worst performing subject line, which was the one thing the polls got right, when sent to the entire database, would generate around 400,000 in donations. The best performing subject line, which was I will be outspent, generated a total of 2.67 million in donations. That's an additional, 2.6 million, or additional 2.2 rather, million in donations raised due to a change in the email subject line. Right? That's how critical it is. Now, just like Obama's team, your task is to have a go at testing each element of your email, but just make sure you only test one element at a time. If you test more than one, you won't actually know which element caused the change in results. So do this scientifically. And this brings us to our final point. Effective testing requires a way to measure your results. Otherwise, you won't know which tests performed well. Here are some key measures to help you monitor your email campaign's efficiency. The first is deliverability, right? This measures the rate at which your emails reach your intended subscribers' inboxes. So this is where you need to ensure that you're following the best practices I mentioned to avoid the spam filters. This is number one. Next is open rate. This statistic identifies how many emails were opened out of the number delivered. And this will depend on things like, whether you put the sender's name in the email and personalize it, whether, what the subject line is, what the pre-header looks like, the day and time you sent it, and so on. Next up is click-through rate. This measures the number of clicks on your call to action buttons or links. If the click-through rate is high, it suggests the content is relevant and valuable for your audience. So you want to ensure that your content and offers provide value to your segmented list, and you want to test different call to actions to see what works best. Next is conversions. This measures whether your readers are taking action after they click. For example, making purchases or signing up to your lead magnets, etc. Next is what we might call unsubscribes, right? These are the people who choose to leave your mailing list. If this number is too high, you're going to need to reconsider your approach to email marketing. Is the email aligned to your brand, right? Is it delivering enough value to your audience, or is it just trying to sell, and so on? And finally, spam complaints, right? If your email turns up in the spam box, it suggests that your emails are not wanted or unexpected, and you'll need to get onto this fast to avoid damaging your email account. In case you want a sense of the average stats across different industries, so you have a bit of a benchmark to work towards, here are some stats for you across different industries. Have a look at them. Look, ultimately, it's worth reviewing these metrics on a regular basis to really help evaluate the success of your tests and optimize for future campaigns. And what I've found with many of our clients, as well as our own business, is that when you do this, when you take this sort of testing, measurement, and optimization seriously, you'll see your engagement and ultimately your sales increase in the process. Okay, where to from here? Well, your next steps are as follows. Number one, use the email campaign planner to create your schedule of emails, including topic, subject lines, and so on. And you're going to see there's some space for you to do that. Two, use the planner to note down your A/B tests, right? So you know which elements you're testing in any given email campaign. And three, use the planner to track your email results, right? Things like open rate, click-through rate, conversions, etc. So you have the data you need to continually optimize your campaigns and boost your sales. Good luck, and let us know how you go.